What's up? Welcome back to another episode of Love Us, where we ask that you
Indeed.
don't judge us, don't cancel us, don't hate us, don't whatever that's
Please
bad,
don't
put it in
cancel
front.
us.
Please, whatever's in
Please.
front of that, don't do it. Just love us. That's it. But
Because we love you.
a lot. But I go by the name Maj, aka Oxford Bully, aka Big Sexy with the glasses, and we're here for another episode with.
My name is Hubert Johnson, Hubert Leon Johnson, aka Ell Ex the Jet on that, aka no glasses. I'm gonna just be myself today.
Yes, and I am Bin Nguyen, aka Philly Sushi Queen, aka, as they would say, the Lonely Traveler, which we might get into a little later.
Ah,
Indeed.
so we don't even gotta wait later. What does that mean, the lonely traveler?
Yeah, so it was actually about like a year anniversary when I had taken my first solo trip where I booked a trip out west, rented a van for a month, and decided to travel and explore the West Coast solo, essentially. And it was very chaotic, exciting, nerve-wracking, and like everything in between, but it ended up being like an amazing trip. And now I was just telling you guys offline that I recommend everyone take at least like one trip by themselves every year to have that me time and to like have that moment to rediscover yourself and build that relationship and bond with you.
What even brought the idea of like needing me time or rediscovering yourself?
So for me, people really think I'm an extrovert, but really I'm very introverted, and I could hang out and be by myself all day, every day. I'm the type of person where I need time alone to recharge. And so if people out there are very similar, I'm sure you totally understand why you need that me time. For me, I was just so lost in like the chaos and the noise of work, my family, my friends, all of the issues that were going on in life. And I was having like a mini existential crisis about, wait, what am I like? Let's take a step back. What am I doing amidst all of this noise, right? And I wanted to just pause and reset and take that time to myself to have clarity on what it is that I'm doing. What's my purpose? What's my passion? What's my vision for the future? Answering all of these questions that were spinning through my mind. And so I thought, what better else to have that peace and clarity on a trip by myself where I could just only focus on, what was going on in here and have that experience.
No, that's
That's so
so
interesting
dope.
you say that, Ben. Because I feel the same way, right? You got to kind of pry me out of my house. So, but I took the trip to Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm here now, twice now. So that's like a 40-hour drive from where I am in New Jersey.
Wow.
And that alone time you talked about, it's integral to us introverts, right? Talk to me about how the more time you spent with yourself has actually made you better for the people around you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you have that time by yourself to recharge and really reflect on what you're doing in this world and who you are and being comfortable in this skin and having this relationship with you, which I feel like not many people do enough of because they distract themselves with everything else going on. And they forget that at the end of the day, the only person who you truly have and who's truly experiencing this life with that, to this extent is you, right? No one knows what's going on in the lens of Leon besides Leon. And so that's why I feel like it's so important for you to, rediscover that relationship with yourself and be playful with yourself and have fun with yourself and enjoy yourself. And also just find clarity, because when you have that comfortable relationship with yourself and you're so confident in your skin, it truly like reflects outward and your energy changes and how you speak to other people changes, and all of those things hopefully move the needle in bettering and making a positive impact for everyone around you.
I agree.
No, I definitely agree. I think in terms of my personal life, that at times I felt like I needed me time or an escape. Felt like when the idea of like failure came, or like the idea of failing others or not reaching a goal or accomplishment that I promised not only myself but I stated to others. and it led to me thinking like I need to recalculate or strategize, whatever. Did like you coming to the idea of thinking you needed me time and getting away, did it come from the sense of failure, or you not reaching where you thought you would be, or was it not really that?
That's such a great question. And I totally relate because there have been moments for me in my life where I've had to reset and like have that me time because of failure or a challenge it arose or something like that. But for this specific situation where I was on my solo trip last year, it came from me kind of having like a quarter life crisis where I was 25 at the time, turning 26, and I was like, all right, wait, what the hell am I doing with my life, right? What's the purpose of me being on this earth right now? What am I doing in the future? Like what am I passionate about? And I just started thinking like, wait, I've already been on this earth for 25, almost 26 years. I want the rest of my time on this earth to be as impactful as possible and as fulfilling as possible. So then I had this crisis of like needing to figure it out right there and right then. And so how my mind operates is I'm innately a very curious person. And so I was just pondering so many different possibilities and paths that I could go on in the future. I saw a path where I never got married. I saw a path where I never had kids. I saw a path where I got married and I had kids and I was really happy and fulfilled. I saw a path in this career and that career, and just way too many paths and like possibilities. And I was kind of stumped by like making that decision of what path do I go down? And I don't know if either of you had that, situation in your life where you're like, I could go this route and be a professional athlete, or I could go this route and I could be a motivational speaker, or I could go this route and live here, or I could go this route and live there. Do you ever get stumped by too many possibilities and too many options?
Yes. And I think that's where the idea of like discipline and routine kind of comes in. So I think I'm faced with that every day, especially with
I was gonna say that I deal with that every day. Yeah,
with
because I could literally. I feel like sorry to cut you off, but I'm inspired. I feel like I could stop right now and do really anything I put my mind to.
Exactly.
I really truly believe like if I commit to it, I could do it. So it's like that kind of calms the anxiety for me, because my anxiety gets high. It's like, oh shit, it's football. I'm 26. Is football the right thing? Da 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 da. And it's like, hold on. Whatever you say you're gonna do, you're gonna give it the effort to be proficient at it. So just fucking relax. That's what I find myself telling myself that every 6 days sometimes.
I think my problem is I have an irregular heart. I have a big heart. Like I physically have a big heart. So outside of that, I feel like I can help and love everybody. And that kind of is where anxiety comes in for me. I think from a life standpoint, I've been through a lot. So I can help people just from like life experiences. But if you want to like actually get deeper into it as an athlete, I can help people, whether it's football, basketball, well-being. I've done everything at a high level, whether it was basketball and traveling to football, playing collegiate. I've had success at all those levels. And I think about corporately, like whether you're an athlete or from a diverse background, I can help you from that avenue. There's so many times I want to go deeper into that. I want to help individuals, but then I think about stuff like this in terms of like podcasting, how much more I could do if I actually was able to allocate more time as opposed to not being distracted from other things. And even music. I feel like my music is great, but if I had time to solely focus on it, I always say like maybe it'll be, instead of where it is now, it'll be further along because I'll have time to do marketing, have time to actually engage with fans and things like that. But then I started thinking, well, wait, if I wasn't doing those other things, I wouldn't have those life experiences. I also wouldn't be able to relate as much because I'm not having the constant battles and internal, like uncomfortable conversations or failures, quote unquote, because I'm not reaching something. And therefore, I kind of lose that relatability. So as much as I think about all these different things that I could be doing, I start enjoying the fact that I had the time I do doing it. So it's kind of like we always have a dream of like winning a Grammy, but the dream is actually essentially that in the time I have, I'm making the most of it. Like I'm making music when I could be doing nothing. So
exactly.
I kind of fell in love with the process.
And I think that's why I still think about this all the time, and I still don't have 100% clarity, and I don't think I ever will, just because my mind is just, that's how it operates. But I do have peace in like always reverting back to the present moment. Like I could think about the future all day, every day. I could think and visualize about what tomorrow looks like in the next day in 5-10 years, but I need to focus more, and I have more clarity when I'm like being really present in this moment and thinking about what am I doing right now, right here. So that's how I kind of cope with my crisis. But to add another layer to it, another situation I was thinking about during my trip was, am I living my life for Ben and what I genuinely want, or am I living my life for other people, right? Am I living my life for my mom, my friends, my coworkers? Are my decisions based on what they want out of me and what the version of Ben they want? Or is it my true, genuine, like raw Ben that I want? So that's something I feel like is another balance and a struggle. And I'm curious as to know, like, if you both have a similar dialect about it.
That's kind of like because I'm kind of similar to Sema'j in the way of, I want to help everybody. I want to make the environment, I want to make everybody comfortable, even if it's at my own comfortability expense. But one of the things that I kind of got to remind myself, like we say, we need to recharge that battery, right? I know if I don't, if I only make everyone else comfortable, there'll come a point where I'm so uncomfortable that I can't make them comfortable anymore. And this is, I kind of wanted to jump into this question with you about, the recharging and kind of really to everybody, like, how do we know when to, how do we develop the understanding to let's recharge before I have to, you know what I mean? And that's been probably one of the highest priorities for me right now, is being able to build the recharge into the daily routine versus having to fall off the cliff, jump away for 3 days, and then now I'm back to myself. So I'm kind of trying to, I think it's like you said, being in the presence, right? Am I doing what Leon wants to do, Ben, Sema'j? Am I doing what I want to do? And how will this impact them if I continue doing this, right? So I go from the present to the foreseeable immediate future. Like, if I keep going this way, it's going to hurt you negatively. So eventually I have to come to terms with myself, is you have to, if you are healthy, you can make others healthy. So
exactly.
That's like my staple when I get a little lost, I guess.
I completely agree. And I don't think it's selfish. I call it, I'm sure you guys know, self-love, but I need to prioritize me and my mental and my physical health above everything else, because if I don't do that, everyone else is going to suffer because of it, right? If I'm at my best, most optimal self, because I'm putting in the time to recharge before I fall, if I'm putting in the time to make sure I'm in the best headspace or I'm physically the best I can be, then that's when I can perform, and that's when I can help other people at the best of my ability. So that's kind of shifting your mind to think of it as less selfish and more self-love. If more people did that, then I think, they'd be in a better space.
Totally agree. I think I was watching a podcast earlier because I'm a huge fan of like a lot of like New York legends. So I was watching I Am Athlete with Fat Joe, and he said that Hov and Diddy always told him that, like, if you just focus on the music, the rest will come. And like Jim Jones had a very similar sentiment in his interview recently about, like, prime example, if music is your bread and butter, like if you pump out hits, everything else you want to do will follow along. So if you're an athlete, if you master that craft, everything that you want to do from there will come along, because people will see your passion there and have actual standard or a blueprint or foundation to see that you have a level of success, and then it can go elsewhere. So prime example being for yourself, for self-love. If you're your bread and butter and you're investing in yourself, meaning spiritually, mentally, physically, you're at your, not peak, but you're at a place where it's noticeable on the outside externally to others, it's easy now to help them, as opposed to it just being lip service. Because if I sit here and tell you need to eating better, sleeping better, doing all these different things, you look at me, I have bags under my eyes, I'm fat, I'd have no energy. It's like, how can you tell me this? Because if you're doing it, it's clearly not working. And if you're not doing it, why not?
Right, exactly. And I've noticed it in my own life where in, the ebbs and flows of life, when I'm crazy busy with work and I could tell like I'm putting way too much time on all of these other external factors and I'm not focusing on any time on myself, I notice myself, I'm not performing as well. I'm slipping up, I'm making mistakes, I'm not clear-minded, like all of these other things. So to avoid all of that, I'd rather take the proactive measure and set aside that 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day or whatever that looks like, depending on who you are, and focus on that recharge time and what that looks like for you. And for me, I literally love watching trash TV, and that's my escape. Like watching Real Housewives for an hour a day, and I'm like, all right, I had time to like decompress my mind, just focus on something else and let loose, and now I can like be back on my game. So what does that look like for you guys?
No, I personally love trash TV because
Yes.
it makes me understand how much of a game life really is.
Yeah,
Because the minute you start judging them, you start realizing like, wow, I do the same thing, or
I do the same shit. Yeah.
So
exactly.
they're just on TV.
Yeah, this right here keeps my brain moving. I can keep the competitive juices moving. I can't do it in the morning. I got to knock things out in the morning. But like when I feel like I've accomplished what I want to accomplish for a certain period of the day, I'll let my mind spin competitively, leisurely with the Xbox for sure. I feel like we said, we say trash TV or video games. Some people say trash TV is bad for you, video games is bad for you. But like there's that duality you got to maintain. There's a balance you got to maintain. We mean business for majority of the day. Right? And we operate just about every facet of our lives like that. It's cool to have that one pleasure that doesn't, I don't like calling it a guilty pleasure, the one pleasure that doesn't take away from what you got going on, but is essential to keeping you balanced and stable. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And I don't know if this is healthy or not, but at least for me, a lot of the times I use those quote unquote guilty pleasures as my motivation. So like I'll literally bust out in the morning and be like, all right, like I'm planning on taking an hour and a half lunch break today to like decompress, watch my shows, eat like delicious food. But in order for me to get to that point, I'm literally going to be like super productive. I'm going to stay focused and like,
For sure.
Get what I need to get done.
Reward yourself.
That's motivation.
Right.
Yeah. As a reward.
Yep.
Yeah, like for me, I went the entire month so far with no sugar. So it's like I've been running a 5K every morning, no sugar, and like it's like a whole like routine.
5K?
Yeah,
Oh
but
my gosh.
come Friday, like it's gonna be the most sugar. Like I've been like craving because like throughout this whole time, something that has sugar and you can't eat during this period is pizza. So I've been craving pizza.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about that.
It's gonna be
There's sugar in
pizza,
everything.
wings with ranch, blue cheese, whatever, and then
Ooh, no ranch, baby, no ranch.
But my
No
guilty
blue cheese.
but my guilty pleasure is definitely going to be topped off with holy water. But then,
Ooh.
I mean, because we are on the road to recovery. I didn't say we were there, but
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But in a little bit more serious note, I did want to ask you this thing. So our message here, we want us to mean everybody, men, women, black, white, up, down, whatever you are. What can you say to the young women that may want to get into the path that you've been in, whether it be the traveling path, PR, advertising, whatever it is? What could you say to young women today that are 15, 16, 13, 14?
40.
What type of what roadmap could you give them?
Wow, that is an excellent question, and I have so many different things I want to say.
Take your time.
I'll go with some of my top mottos of how I live my life, and that's really worked with me. The first one is, if there's not a seat at the table for you, bring a folding chair, right? So many people in life think that because they weren't invited to the table or because they weren't included, that's the line. And for me, no never means no. It just means find another way. And I've always lived my life like that. I've always been really ambitious and gritty in that sense, just because of my upbringing, right? So I grew up in a lower income household. My parents busted their ass to, make sure we had a solid education. I wasn't even born here. I was born in Vietnam, came here when I was 1 year old. So I've always had this chip in my shoulder of wanting to make my parents proud and also make the most of my life, just because they literally sacrificed their whole life so that I could have a better future, right? So knowing that, I've lived my life with no doesn't mean no. I just find different ways in getting what I want and achieving what I want to achieve in life. And I want, girls in middle school and high school to have that same exact ideology, depending on, doesn't matter where their background or where they came from, whether they were rich, like you said, or poor, or black or white, whatever it looks like for you. You literally can achieve anything in your life that you want to, as long as you set your mind to it and you are solution oriented and you're creative in figuring out what that path looks like for you. So yeah, that would be a major motto for me.
I agree with one of my favorite quotes that you just said, and I'm saying favorite because I just heard it the first time from you, but I'm going to use is, if there's not a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. And I think that's so dope.
Yeah,
I used to work in a tech company coming out of school, where I was a part of sales enablement, where essentially we were helping the premium engagement. So these are top sellers, like the ones who go to Hawaii for like the end of the year session for the winter circle. And we used to always tell them that no is just when the sale begins, and having the ability to question and nudge. So in terms of throughout your career, how have you been able to ask the right questions or potentially nudge people when essentially there was a no, or find the resources to kind of get around that?
Okay, so because we all love Temple, I gotta throw it back to a story about that. Yes, correct. I don't know if you guys knew this, but I actually wasn't accepted to Temple. They said no to me. And I remember being in high school, Temple was my dream school. I wanted to go to a school in the city, and I knew how diverse Temple was, just because, no shade to my high school, but I went to a high school where I was literally one of like 3 Asian people. So it was not the most diverse experience, right? So I knew that's what I wanted for my collegiate experience. Applied to Temple, so excited, and like that was my dream school. And I got a letter in the mail saying, "You've been waitlisted," which to me sounds like, all right, you're not good enough for like a yes yet, but like we'll keep you on the fence just in case the yes people don't want to come here. And that was like the worst feeling in the world. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just wait. 2 months go by, and I'm thinking they're going to either let me know yes or no. I get a letter in the mail. They said, "You've been put on a second wait list, and you won't be able to find out until like 2 months before the first semester." Right. So basically I'm thinking I'm the bottom of the crop. Like they're just going to accept me if they need me. So I'm like, all right, how do I change this no/maybe into a yes? And how do I put myself on Temple's radar? So in high school, I actually anchored the morning news. So I got like the cameraman and I was like, I'm going to make Temple a video. And I, put this Temple flag in the background. I made this video talking about why I would be like a valuable asset to their university and like just sharing who I am, my personality. I put it together. The next day, I sent it to literally every single Temple email I could find out online. Like if it said temple.edu, you were getting my email. And so that's what I did. And within like hours, I got another email saying, "Congratulations, you've been accepted to Temple University." So literally that is my story, to say that no doesn't mean no. It just means find another way, be creative, make your seat at the table, whether it's you're bringing a folding chair or you're standing and everyone else is sitting, whatever you need to do.
That's so dope.
Amen. Fuck.
That's super dope.
I had a similar experience. Like I'll try to make this as short as possible. I went to a charter school, new open, Barack Obama Green Charter High School back in the day. I went there for 2 years. They didn't have the documents that qualified their curriculum through the NCAA clearinghouse. So when it was time for me to go to school, it looked like I didn't go to school from 10th and 11th grade. So basically, Alan Mogridge, my recruiting coach from Temple, he would come back and forth from Philly to Plainfield like 2-3 times a week to make sure that they were submitting each curriculum from each course, from each semester through 2 years. And a lot of big schools that send me scholarships, Ohio State, they was like, "We don't think you're going to get it done, so we'll still offer you, but whatever." And I had to get 2 A's and 2 summer school. That's why I didn't come on time, Maj. When I came in July, I had to get 2 A's and 2 summer classes for me to be eligible 1 point to get into Temple. So man, no does not mean no. Fuck. No don't mean shit.
No doesn't
It's
mean
either
anything.
yes, it's either yes or go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like there is nothing you cannot do. It's just win. It's just win.
Exactly. And that's why it makes me cringe so much when I hear young people nowadays where they'll get a no and I'll be like, okay, well, what happened? They'll be like, well, this person told me no. And so that was the end of the road. And I'm like, it's never the end of the road for you. If you want something, you just got to be creative in making it happen, right? Did you try the window? Was the window open? Did you try the back door? Like, you gotta be creative here. There's a way in. You just need to find what that way looks like. And I want to emphasize that if people put in the effort to find that way, like they're going to get in. A lot of people just stop at, the front door.
Right. Yeah.
Seriously.
Failures are lessons, man. Well, what do I know?
How do I know? But in terms of, so you went away, and one thing you spoke about, so the first segment was about more so the lonely traveler, but you mentioned another AKA, which was the sushi queen. So
yes.
Explain to us, one, for people who don't know what sushi is, because there's a lot of negative connotation around it, and people
Right.
just are misinformed and miseducated. And also, where should we be going to try it?
All right. Well, before we even get into that, and no judgment here, do you guys like sushi or no? Be honest.
I'm
I
very
could eat
basic.
sushi all day long.
You eat sushi all day long?
I could
Oh,
eat
you
it all
can.
day.
I'm
Maj?
basic. I'm basic, so meaning that if I go somewhere and there's a tray, I just try all of it. But if I'm going on my own, I order like the spicy shrimp roll or like the dumplings. It's like very generic. But if people have it, then I'm like, oh, if they're eating, I'm going to try that.
Okay, cool. You just got to go with the right people. I got you next time.
I appreciate it.
Show you the ropes of different tiers. But yeah, so I actually worked in a sushi restaurant in high school, and I was the hostess for the sushi restaurant, and that's where I kind of got introduced to all of the different types of fish, everything that goes in different types of rolls, all the different kinds of sushi. And I mean, I love eating it. So I'm 100% like on board with that, right? So I got to Temple, I got to college, people would still hit me up and be like, oh, like, where do we go to get sushi? Or like, I'm just starting to eat it because I've never eaten it before. Like, what roll should I get first? Or, all of these questions. And I thought, all right, let me just make like an Instagram page and you can go there as like the guide. So whether you're like a sushi expert or it's your first time ever trying raw fish and rice and seaweed, I try to make it all encompassing where you can find options within Philadelphia, no matter what level you're at. So that's the inspiration behind Philly Sushi. And now I've had so many wonderful experiences eating sushi at all of the different restaurants in the city that I have like a more expertise gauge on types of quality of fish, different types of rolls, what everything means. And I'm so like fascinated and interested in like Japanese culture and like everything behind that. I would love to go to Japan one day and like experience sushi there. But that's kind of where all of the Philly sushi and the sushi queen stuff.
Nice. So where's your go-to though in Philly?
Oh my God, that's so difficult because it depends. Are you talking about for a date night? Are you talking about for takeout? Are you talking about for quality of fish? Are you talking about for an omakase experience?
Say you need to recharge. Say you need that me time. You need to recharge.
Oh, a recharge. So there's this place in the city called QU Japan, and they have literally the dopest happy hour. It's $6 for drinks, like any drink, sake, cocktails, beer, and then $6 sushi. And you can get all types of sushi. Like they have spicy tunas, they have the salmons, they have the yellowtails, they have rolls, they have just sushi and sashimi. They have all different types, and it's such a great deal for $6. And it's like a family-owned business, and they're just great there. The quality is superb. So that's kind of, if I had like a I want to just go and decompress and like get a quick bite and a drink, that's definitely one of the go-tos.
Nice.
Sure. I'm definitely gonna check that out because you have my ear for a lot of those things. So QU Japan. And where is it at, Philly?
You know what? I actually took Sully there. We didn't go for happy hour, but we went for lunch, and it's in Center City, like 16th and Market, I would say 16th and Market.
Oh, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, that's right there.
Leon, where are you? You're not in Philly right now, are you?
No, I'm in Canada. Yeah,
right now. So I was like,
there's some good sushi spots up here. There's a spot called Fusion down by where my lady lives. That shit's really good.
Oh, nice.
And like I can that menu, I'll like, all right, give me the eel. I don't even know what the fuck that's gonna taste like, but man, it's really, really good. Now I did want to ask, is all of the sushi raw fish or is some of the fish smoked?
No, there's so many different options. So for the most part, sushi is raw, but there's options like Maj mentioned earlier, shrimp tempura that's fried and completely cooked. Or we have like the basic California roll, which is imitation crab.
Yeah.
Right. And there's a lot of different cooked rolls. And now they've been creative with like fried sushi rolls. So there's a lot of different options out there depending on your palate and like how comfortable you are eating raw fish.
Good, because I tried to tell my dad. My dad's like, I ain't eating no raw fish. I'm like, Dad, it's not all raw.
No, so good though.
But in terms of what's next, like what is next for Ben?
What is next for Ben? Honestly, I've just been, like you said, sticking to staying in the present, putting one foot in front of the other, and hopefully slowly all of my efforts that I'm doing in the moment build that empire that I hope to have in the future. I don't know if I told you guys, but like a year and a half ago, I quit my job and I decided to start my own PR and consulting company. And so I've been doing that for the past year and a half, and hopefully in the future, I can continue helping people with my expertise in PR and branding and social media and marketing and make an impact, whatever that looks like. And just continue like finding joys and happiness in life. That's the bigger picture.
Well, kudos to you for investing in yourself and taking that leap. But for anyone else who wants to take that leap and invest in themselves, what words would you give them, or what areas would you tell them to focus on before they take that step?
I would say that you can analyze all day on whether you're ready or not to take that step, but you're never going to be ready. You just need a jump, right? So I would say take the dive, take the jump. You may not feel like you're prepared or ready, but you got this, and you just need to dive into it and then, see what happens, and you'll figure it out, And for me, at least, I'm the type of person where I am confident in myself enough that no matter what, even if I'm like up against the wall, I'm going to figure it out. And so I want people listening to have that same level of confidence and trust themselves that you will figure it out no matter what. So just take the leap and it'll come with a lot of abundance. At least in my journey, it has so far.
Indeed.
Definitely. I want to thank you for being vulnerable and sharing your story today. But also I would love for you to tell the people where they can follow you, how can they get in contact with you if they have anything they need help with in terms of PR marketing, or if just any young female who has help and wants to kind of have advice on moving forward in their career or whatever their life journey entails, let them know how they can find you.
Yes. So for any sushi lovers, you can always reach out to me at Philly_sushi on Instagram. Just shoot me a DM if you need recommendations or any suggestions. And then me personally, you can find me on Instagram at bin, BINH _4, the win. And then, you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm on all social media, or you can shoot me an email too if you want to put my email link in the bio or something like that. I'm always reachable, and I'm always here if anyone needs me as a resource.
Definitely. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you all for tuning in once again. So with that being said, we wish you peace, joy, happiness, prosperity, light, love. Hopefully you hit the lottery. Hopefully you make it happen on your own. But I am your boy Maj, aka Oxcore Bully, aka Big Sexy Witza. Glasses.
That's your boy Hubert Leon Johnson Jr., aka Ell Ex the Jet on that with the red Xbox remote.
And Mike with the sugar-free water. But we out, and we'll see you when we see you.
Breeze making me sweat, making me feel so hot. That breeze making me sweat, making me feel so hot. That breeze making me sweat, making me feel so hot. That breeze making me sweat, making me feel so hot. That breeze making me sweat, making me feel so hot.
Alexa, jet on that. Turn up a little bit. Just a little bit. Huh? Sing to him while I talk to him. Look. Anything you start, you better finish it. Mind over matter, if it don't matter, mind your business then. I went off the border like I'm visiting. Hopping out of foreigns like an immigrant. The type of work I give ain't in the syllabus. I've been the hardest, the jet before flights was getting chartered. Trying to buy land for my kids, like really get my kindergarten. Studied the book of life, became an author. Trying to right my wrongs, becoming stronger. Every chapter I go farther. I know niggas who went far without their mother and their father. And I know some who had both and never bothered. It's funny, the ones that got it easy complain when shit get harder. But if hard is all you knew, you found a way about that trauma. And don't be selfish, and prepare to play whatever hand you dealt with. And fuck money, happiness is really where the wealth is. Your thoughts gon' be as good as your health is. And why sag when you just went and spin a bag on your belt, kid? Huh? And let them sing to you. Look. The Wu say, reach for the stars, my nigga. And I do say, I never double cross my niggas. Don't care who say, you can't disregard them niggas. And if you eatin', never starve your niggas. Look, the Wu say, reach for the stars, my nigga. And I do say, I never double cross my niggas. Don't care who say, you can't disregard them niggas. And if you eatin', never starve your niggas. Look. So high, I'm so different. Plainful got me molded different, motives different. Damn near everything I speak a message, try to help grow the children. I would've never wrote this shit without COVID hitting. Reefy bought the Range Rover different. He ahead by a social distance. Nigga, I know you see it. Niggas only call you when they need you. Seem like they only want what's in store. When it's convenient, you better see it. They killing us black niggas for no reason. So I had to find my purpose, find my reason. Python skin shit came for reason. Cause nowadays they dripping Palm Angel on the demons. You get anything you want if you believe it. You get anything you want if you believe it. And don't try that beef shit if you vegan. Huh? Yeah, and don't try that beef shit if you vegan, huh? Yeah. So high, I'm so